She said, "Oh, you
You
know,
said no more.
softball."
Good.
She said,
Good white
"I'm
socks.
sure she's got ways."
Yeah.
That's right. What room she in, 'cause I can't get away from her. Exactly what's the deal. Don't finish, relax.
All right, it's 6 o'clock, so I'm going to call this meeting to order. So welcome to the March 21st regular council meeting. I'm going to let you guys take a look at the agenda, and while you do that, I'll ask Councilman Rustin to lead us in our invocation.
Sure, let's pray. Dear God, thank you for the opportunity to be here tonight, Lord. Thank you for the beautiful sunshine today, Lord, and just the cool weather that's been upon us, Lord. We thank you for the change of season and spring and summers ahead. God, thank you, Lord, just for the city and how it's moving forward right now and the great things that are happening. God, I ask you, Lord, just let it continue to thrive as we go out this year and just in the future. God, we thank you for all the people that protect the city on a day-to-day basis, Lord, and just people that make it go and keep it clean and keep it just working as it should. Lord, we thank you so much for them and their families. God, I ask you, Lord, to be with the meeting tonight. Let the beautiful things that are discussed be benefit of the city and the people that are within it. Lord, I ask all these things in your name. Amen.
You'll stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. Attention, salute, pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. You can continue to look at the agenda, and I'll ask the clerk to call the roll.
Councilmember Lilly.
Here.
Mizell.
Here.
Rustin.
Here.
King. Phillips.
Here.
Mayor Mitchell.
Here. Okay. Fairly busy agenda tonight, but I think we should be able to get through it relatively quickly. And as usual, the first item on the agenda is the consent agenda, the approval of the minutes of the March 7th regular council meeting. Council members have a copy of the minutes, should have a chance to review those. Are there any additions or corrections to the minutes? If there are no additions or corrections, let the record show that the minutes have been accepted by unanimous consent of the council. And we'll start with our department reports, and the police department is first.
Okay. So, everything's going well, budget, vehicles, equipment, training and all. The only thing is still have one on the job injury, which is Mike Peppers. He still hasn't been able to return to work. I do have another officer out, had shoulder surgery, Clay Morgan, but it was not an on-the-job injury. It was something that happened, I think, during hunt season. He slipped and fell, and so they had to repair his shoulder. He's going to be out probably a couple of months. So I'll tell you everything else all right. Still got 2 positions open that we need to fill. We're working on that. Still taking applications. The only other thing is issues and concerns. On 3/7, this was a couple of weeks ago, we served 2 distribution warrants on 2 individuals on Nelson Walker Road. These were folks that we had under investigation for almost a year. We were very happy to obtain the warrants and get those warrants served. And we just kind of want to send a message to everybody that if you come to Columbiana to sell drugs, you're not welcome. If you want to come here and live peacefully among all of us and do the right thing, you're more than welcome to stay, but we're not going to tolerate selling the drugs. More warrants are to come on more individuals. Besides that, that's about it.
Any questions for the chief?
How are your police cadets in the academy going?
Yep. I haven't got any reports saying, hey,
That's good. You're still there.
no, they usually come in and talk to us Friday. They're making it very well. I think they had their first exam yesterday, and both of them passed with flying colors, so we don't expect any problems.
Okay, any other questions?
You brought back up tonight?
I did, yeah.
Okay. Admin.
Everything is going good. No safety issues. Budget is looking good, fully staffed. Training is up to date. No repairs needed at this time. At the bottom is our general fund. The first little section is general fund, and then the bottom section is all other funds. So budget is looking good.
It's all green. Any questions for admin? All right, cruising right along here. The court. All right, you got it then, just look at each other?
I have something more specific, but I think Terry was gonna do that.
Okay.
Nothing's really changed, the judge is in Israel, so, but we have scheduled the first Columbiana Driving Defensive Driving School, which will be April the 12th from 6 to 10 on that Wednesday evening. And next court will be April the 11th.
Have we ever done defensive driving school?
We have not, this
Okay.
is the first.
Who's gonna lead that, the judge?
Administrator Hollis,
Okay. Inaugural class.
that was the class.
Guinea pigs.
That's right.
So that's what I'm here to talk about tonight, is our new defensive driving school. We have done extensive work, we've done a lot of research. Judge wanted us to go into a little bit more detail with you guys. Kim said I had to read it really fast and get it over with, so I'm gonna try to be as detailed and quick as possible. Our defensive driving school is going to be about educating the public through a detailed driving education course using materials from the Alabama Safety Institute approved by the Alabama Department of Public Safety. This is going to give individuals insight on traffic laws as well as a fresh outlook on statistics and facts pertaining to better awareness driving laws of the road. Driving is a privilege. We believe our defensive driving school under the instruction of Investigator John Hall will not only be beneficial to those who qualify for the class, but the city of Columbiana as well. Court has done extensive work, research, offering more details and safety information to the public than those that we've had the pleasure of working with recently, such as the city of Hueytown, the city of Pelham, and the city of Alabaster. We were invited to sit in Alabaster's defensive driving school. This is taught by an 18-plus year veteran. He's a lieutenant. He's also the instructor and commander for the Shelby County Traffic Homicide Task Force. Court would like to recognize that such classes are not about making money, but moving our city forward and being able to use the assets and capabilities that we already possess. Court would like to recognize Investigator John Hall as the City of Columbiana defensive driving instructor. John, real quick, like. John has over 150 certifications, including Certified Instructor, TIM for Traffic Incident Management, Traffic Homicide Investigator, Law Enforcement Response through CSX for Railroad Response, IPTM Certified for Motorcycle Crash Investigations, SKID Car Training Certification for Road Conditions, Emergency Incident Response through CSX, and most recently, February 27th, he received his certification through the Alabama Safety Institute for our driving education program. Court will allow other surrounding municipalities to participate in our defensive driving school, who are referred to us only by other courts. The process will be registration. They will pay for the class in advance. This will be done only through the court clerk magistrate office. Individuals can pay by card, cash, money order, and must register in advance for our classes. A registration form will be given to them at that point, and they must present the registration form along with proper ID 30 minutes prior to the class. They then will sign and start the class upon completion of the course. A certification of completion will be given to the magistrate, and judge or magistrate will sign off on their case. A dismissed citation will be sent to the Alabama Department of Public Safety Driver License Division. The state of Alabama will not allow those who have a CDL license or a prior conviction of a DUI to participate in the defensive driving school. Some of the subjects that we really feel strongly about and that we want to touch base on is texting and driving, school bus laws in detail, crash statistics, railroad crossings, and the point system. We have so many questions about the point system, so we're going to go into detail about that. What will suspend your license and how do you get it current again? What do you do when you're just involved in a motor vehicle accident? Road conditions, documents required at traffic stops, safety rules for pedestrians, right-of-way and yielding, driving while under the influence, the effects of alcohol and drugs while driving. Alabama safety belt and child restraint laws, medical aspects of driving, relationship of alcohol to traffic accidents, cellular phone usage and aggressive driving, and road rage.
Did I hear on that first page that we're opening up to other cities too? It's not just Columbiana, so any,
The only way that they can come is at their court ordered.
okay,
Yeah.
but even another city like
Yes.
Alabaster or whatever, if they
If, for
choose to come
instance, they
here.
weren't able to make their driving school and they were able to make ours, they can be referred to us.
Okay.
Do you have any questions?
Do other cities have this in the county,
Other cities?
in our county?
Yes, in our county.
The question was, do other cities in our county have a driving school?
Do they have it?
Alabaster is one.
Yes,
Who
they
else?
do. They do have driving schools. And not every city has their own defensive driving class. I know Alabaster, when we were there, he did say that they have other people that come to theirs.
So I wonder if you get a ticket in Alabaster, could you come to Columbiana's?
If it's referred by the court to us, yeah.
How many people in the inaugural class?
I'd do that to get out of a ticket.
All right, any other questions for Terry or Lisa?
Congratulations, that's pretty good there.
I was just glad you didn't
That
read
was
all
quick.
150 citations. When you start out. Man.
Down.
Just give us the big ones.
Good job, thanks. Public Works,
Everything's going pretty good right now. Grass season's fixing to get started good. With one injury we had and everything, Mr. Larry Perriman, he's back at work with no problems and everything. They released him to come back to do what he wanted to do and stuff, so he's back here and cut grass and stuff. Our big truck that we bought and everything is out of the shop and back up running. The smaller truck we've got in, it's one I've been telling y'all about, it was gonna have to be, it's in the shop now, they're currently working on it. And we've started the demolition work on the new shop building out there, we've about got all the metal off the side of it, all the way around it, and tearing stuff down, trying to cut money everywhere we can cut it, just to save what we can, everything where they get started on it. Other than that, everything running pretty smooth. We can get some dry weather.
Yeah.
any questions for Public Works?
Is Larry's brother helping Steve?
Yeah.
Okay.
Appreciate what you guys do out.
Yeah.
Y'all about to get busy, but appreciate it.
Do you have any idea on how long that 20-yard truck's gonna be in the shop?
Well, she sent me an email today, they're waiting on the, transmission people to come down and look, cause they've gotta put a gasket on the PTO part of it where it's pouring fluid out, and everything's just from wear and tear where it just kicks on and off all the time. And, they've got to where they put that, blower on there and everything, that turbocharger and everything, they've got to tune it to the motor and everything, it has to be hooked up to a computer and tuned into the motor.
So is that the engine transmission or is that the transmission?
This,
for that?
all of it's tied together on
It
one
is?
transmission.
Is it?
Yep.
We're gonna have to repair any of the concrete on that building?
We already have done the concrete.
We've
Okay.
done some, there's one other place that we found that we could fix ourselves and everything.
Okay.
But we had some areas that were settling, brought those, what was it, APS? that did it?
Yeah, thanks. No, the place out of clear, I can't think what
Oh,
they.
they fixed the settling and raised it up.
We start stripping all the electrical stuff out of it.
Any other questions for Public Works? Okay. Board reports, Planning Commission,
I wasn't there.
did we have a meeting?
I wasn't there, but they'll call me after to tell me. The Dr. Thornburg's property that we had a public hearing about, that was approved to rezone it all into, it was split into R1 and B1, so it's now all B1. So that'll come to council April 18th, and we'll have another public hearing here for that. And there was a couple of applications that were submitted, so at our next month's planning commission meeting, we'll have public hearings for rezoning. If those pass, then those will come to council in May.
So, is everybody familiar with the piece of property that is up for rezoning? It it fronts both Old 25 and 25 bypass adjacent to Dr. Thornburg's office. And the part on 25 bypass is already B1. And then right through the parcel that's split, and that part was R1.
Mhm.
You got anything for the recreation board?
Yeah, actually, can mention some things too. We met the other night, just talked about all of our leads are up and going now. We talked with the chief too. We're having some issues at the complex about people driving through the back of the complex with people up there. So from a city perspective, I think we need to find out some type of mitigation tool on the front side of that to keep people from driving in there, one. Two, I think I talked about an ordinance, I don't know if the council's got an appetite for that, to give some teeth into what we're trying to do up there, but there's just a lot of risk involved in that. The point I think a lot of it is laziness really. But it's a liability for the city big time. So the police department, so if anybody's listening out there online, the police department has been advised to write citations, to tow, and to do whatever they need to do up there to get people from the back of that facility. So I think we need to get our heads together and see what we can do to put a gate up there that's, the only time that really people need to go in there is for deliveries or emergency vehicles. So outside of that, whatever we need to do. But that is an issue.
Where
big
are they
time.
driving? Like,
Well,
up to
there's a
the,
park in the back when you have birthday parties back there.
are they
you got
driving
bunches-
around the
Yeah, and people
walking
walk
track?
Yeah.
Okay.
Or they drive straight through the property. So it's like the other night there was a ballpark full and the lady drives up to the concession stand area to use the restroom.
Oh
Might have gone
my
through the
God.
drive-through.
Last Sunday,
Something to eat.
Last Sunday, I'm up there picking up trash, and the guy proceeded to drive around the track, and he thought I was crazy when I told him it's not a road, and there's really people walking around the track. So obviously, I'm a citizen. I don't have any. So, if within the sound of my voice, if you have a car up there, the cops will be called, and it may be my best friend, but it's going to happen.
I heard on Sunday there was 4 or 5 cars back near the park. I guess they were having
They
a
did.
party.
Yep. So, police were called that day.
Were there any plans to ever have a parking lot on that side for the park? I don't,
At one time, they talked about it, because we own the property there behind it, now we own it all right there behind it, where the shop's gonna be.
and I think with the park being back there, that's.
Yeah.
people-
But, yeah, I mean, it is, and unfortunately, that park's in the back of the property, but, I mean, people think you would be surprised the response you get when you say you can't drive back there.
There was a lot of discussion where to put that park, because some wanted to put it out there on that front corner, and everybody, and there's some that was worried about the traffic flow on Highway 70 and kids mess around and get out of the fence or something.
Hard to make everybody happy.
And that's where you ended up getting put in the back.
So let's put our heads together to see what we can do there. I think it needs to be something permanent that can be moved in and out. Emergency vehicle come up, you pull a stake out, something, a concrete deal out of the ground or something. The other thing we talked, go ahead.
When it was first built, we had a chain that would go from one side to the other so that people couldn't drive up in there.
Yeah, the guy mentioned that to me the other night, where we could put 2 posts on each side and put a chain through it.
Can't do that.
You can't.
If somebody you got it up and somebody runs through there and it decapitates them, you're gonna be responsible for it. You
Well,
have to
we
put
have-
some kind of gate or pipe up there, the state chain, Gulf
We
State
had a
got
lot-
sued.
That's kinda like the school had before we
Yeah,
put the fence.
Gulf State got sued over the cable, the chain stuff, man was running from them and run through a cable and killed him down there.
I get it.
We had to put
Why
a
don't
gate.
we, set up the recreation board can, set up a meeting with me and Alan and anybody else from the council that would like to attend, and let's talk about, options that we can do there. I think there's, we can look and see if there's any, like sample ordinances from other communities that we might want to consider, and if not, we can certainly draft our own, but in the meantime, you know, between signage and there's other options I think that we can consider.
Yeah.
We just need to brainstorm.
To your point, I think we do need to put a sign up there, no vehicles beyond this point. And, but-
If it gets too bad before and we get anything done, I'll be more happy to patrol car out there.
yeah,
Gotta bear with me.
so,
Okay.
and people gonna get frustrated, but it's just to the point now where I'm just gonna get a phone with RPD and they just let them handle it. The other thing that Ashley may chime in on this, we talked about some other things too. We're still waiting on the grant stuff from the county to go ahead on that. Then we just talked about, we've talked before about speed bumps down there by when softball's in play. And I mainly mentioned the other day, portable speed bumps or something like that. We need to do something down there to where, I know they make a portable speed bump, you pull in and out, it's pretty heavy. Just something to deter that traffic. It's the same situation, it's a different scenario.
Well, with the parking across the street, all the kids all the time are walking across
Yeah.
and, you know, they don't always look, being honest.
So while we're doing that meeting, that may be something we need to.
Yeah, we, we've got some speed bumps on order for,
Yeah, they should
from
have
the senior
space in
center.
them any day.
So we can look at getting some more speed bumps, and I don't know that we necessarily need to do it temporary. We could
No,
possibly on
yeah.
that street, leave them there all the time.
And the other thing, this just popped in my mind, it has nothing to do with the park and rec board. If you'll notice, there's a lot of kids that are parking off school grounds down at the Bolton now. So I don't know how that comes into play, if there's a search and seizure deal, 'cause I know if they're on school property, they can get their vehicle searched. So I don't know if we need to put a sign down there that you're subject to coincide with the school there, because I don't want to be a deal to where, that's just thinking out loud, I don't know if, but there's a lot of kids parking at Bolton during the day and even a city park that can create a liability for,
Yeah, absolutely.
so just something to think about.
Yeah, I think they used to park at the rec building.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah, and we, you know.
Had to
had
move
issues
them on.
Parking at the rec
They
building.
don't- they
Yep.
don't pay
So just something to keep in mind.
Yeah.
I wondered why there were so many cars parked down there at the ball field.
Yeah, people parking at school.
Yeah. But I wondered
So,
why, I thought there
Ash,
was,
you got anything else?
Oh, you covered that on the speed bumps. I mean, we see traffic coming all the time down Washington Street, and I know you all do.
See those blue lights?
Yeah. Just as long as it's not the white truck.
Any other questions or comments for the rec board? Water board, Alan?
Just had a regular business meeting, that's all we had.
Are there any other boards that have met that we haven't included here? Okay. All right, so we got a couple of, I think about 3 resolutions on the agenda tonight. One of them is a resolution authorizing me to sign a contract with Video Visions Media Marketing. This is for that mayor's monthly video. They gave us a quote, $6.95 a month. The initial contract would just run through this fiscal year. We would fund it from the marketing and promotion line items in the city budget. I would like to go ahead and move forward with getting this executed so that we can get them started for this April.
Mr. Mayor, I make a recommendation, we accept resolution 032301, it's authorizing the mayor to sign a contract with Video Visions Media Marketing.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay, would you do a roll call, please, Charlie?
Councilmember Lilly,
Yes.
Mizell,
yes.
Rustin,
Yes.
King,
Yes.
Phillips,
Yes.
Mayor Mitchell.
Yes. Okay, resolution 32301 is passed. Next one is to authorize me to sign a contract with Utility Engineering Consultants. Utility Engineering Consultants are the ones who prepared our grant application for 8M for the sewer upgrade project that we have, the grant and the loan combination. And they basically came up with all the technical specifications for it, and they've listed themselves in the grant application, and we obviously agreed to it when we applied for it as the project engineer for the project. ADEM, however, requires a specific format of a contract, which they provided a template to utility engineering who submitted it to us. And we need to execute that contract in order to cut loose all the funds for ADEM for this project. So I'd certainly like to have a motion for Resolution 32302.
I'll make that motion. That we accept resolution 032302, authorizing the mayor to sign a contract with Utility Engineering Consultants LLC.
Second?
Second.
And if you call the roll, please.
Councilmember Lilly,
Yes.
Mizell,
Yes.
Rustin,
Yes.
King,
Yes.
Phillips,
Yes.
Mayor Mitchell.
Yes. Okay, so Resolution 32302 is passed for the contract with Utility Engineering Consultants. The last resolution on the agenda is 032303, and this is a request for installation of 2 streetlights. One of them is on Seal Drive and the other one is on Pitts Drive. Seal Drive is out Highway 47. If you're going towards Chelsea, it's on your right. It's the actual light pole sits back off of 47, a short distance on Seal Drive, and then the one on Pitts Drive is kind of between Pine Tree and where the curve is on Washington. So I support. I think we need the streetlights in those 2 particular areas.
Have they already been putting them up in some
Yes.
spots?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
They're right.
Yeah, these are the new LED
Yeah.
lights, and they make a difference, and they're supposed to be a significant utility savings.
Yeah.
I'd like to be able to see the results of that in the near future. But anyway, these would be the new ones, would they, Alan?
Yes, sir.
All right.
I'd like to introduce Resolution 032303 for the installation of the street lights, especially since I had
That's your area.
it is my area, so,
And the other one
I'll
is,
second it.
I was gonna say, because he was the other one that
Okay,
somebody had contacted.
yep.
and if you call the roll, please.
Councilmember Lilly,
Yes.
Mizell, Rustin,
Yes.
King,
Yes.
Phillips,
Yes.
Mayor Mitchell.
Yes.
We really do have a lot of people, we have a lot of people walk that road.
Maybe we need to table that and get them to put some.
All right, so Resolution 32303 is passed. Okay, other city business. The only thing that we listed on the agenda was a discussion about the floor repair for the Grand Hall. I added a few other things today. The Grand Hall, as you know, we had the water damage during the freeze. And so part of the insurance-covered repair is to basically reseal the floor. But the floor has got where there have been spills of, we assume, alcohol from events at it, and it has basically eaten through not only the seal, but it's eaten down into the concrete, and it's got these spots. So that floor really needs to be refinished and restained. It needs to be completely stripped, refinished, and restained to get rid of those spots. The total cost of the project is quite expensive. I apologize, I don't have the exact number, but it's approximately, I think, $32,000.
That's 31 something.
And a little more than half of that is the actual ceiling that is actually going to be covered by the insurance. So the other half of it would be less than 16, somewhere around $15,000, would be to again strip the floor and re-stain the floor. I believe we have a line item in the budget for economic development, and the entire O'Mill Square project was funded by mostly by Amendment 772 financing, which is the purpose of it, is economic development. And that was the reason why the Old Mill Square was built. So I believe it would be appropriate to use, and we don't have anything identified for that $25,000. So I would recommend that before we reseal that floor, we go ahead and use some of that $25,000 that we have in the budget for economic development and use it to go ahead and strip and refinish that floor for approximately $15,000-$16,000.
If you're gonna do one piece, you might as well do both, right?
Yeah, let's get it done and get it done right. So that's my opinion. So, if the council is in general agreement, and I'd like to hear if there's any one that disagrees with that, we will get a proposal with the exact cost, and then we can execute a contract in the next council meeting.
Will it be a different type of seal to where we won't have to worry about this again, or?
Well, there's one other thing that they recommend. There's a certain type of buffing equipment and a certain type of, I don't want to call it polish, but that you put on the floor when you buff it. And over time, it hardens, continues to harden that seal coat to make it resistant to some of that etching and staining that we've had in the past. And so I think that's another thing that we'll have to look at after we get resealed is purchasing buffing equipment. I think it's around $3,500, but it'd be something that we would own and we would have it, and we could not only use it there, we could use it in other buildings, I suppose, if we needed to. So, but I recommend we move forward with that. Are there any questions about that? Anybody got any concerns about that?
You said the insurance was covering half, that's just for the affected area?
Yeah, so the insurance, no, they're gonna reseal the whole floor. And the insurance was gonna pay for all of that resealing, but it wasn't gonna pay for the repair of the concrete and the staining underneath it. And so we'd be sealing over the top of those big spots that we've got all over that floor. So the part that we need to do that's not covered by the insurance would be the stripping and the restaining of the floor finish before we put the sealer on top of it.
Okay.
Okay, so I just wanted to bring that to your attention, and when we get a proposal, we'll come back before the council for a contract. The beautification board has requested, and I support this, that we submit an application to become a Tree City USA. There's a lot of cities in the country, some, I don't know what the number is. There are several in our county that are already tree cities. The requirement is minimal for us. We have to pass an ordinance because it would be of a permanent nature. So, and we have a template that we can draft an ordinance for, and we can consider it in our first council meeting in April. There is a budgetary commitment that goes along with it, and that commitment is you have to commit to spend at least per year $2 per resident towards this Tree City project, and that is anything that involves. So that would be under $10,000 a year for Columbiana, and that's anything that involves in the maintenance of trees and shrubs and growth inside our city, which we already do to begin with. And so we believe that we can sort of meet that $2 a person commitment by what we already do every day. So
What do we allocate toward the beautification board already? Like 10,000?
We got 20.
yeah,
We got 20 this year.
Yeah, so I mean, it's already there anyway, right? Or it'd be a plus to it.
well, again, the Tree City USA thing.
But you said it had to be a line.
It's all around the city that we have to commit $2 for maintenance of trees and shrubs around the city, which I think we are already doing that with what the Public Works Department already does. So that's the budgetary commitment. The other thing it requires to establish a tree board, and following the lead, since the beautification board's taken the lead on this, and following what other cities would do, the beautification board would be our tree board as well. So it wouldn't really require the establishment of an additional board. We would just have to identify that they are the tree board. And then it requires us to have a National Arbor Day proclamation. So, interestingly enough, the state of Alabama recognizes Arbor Day at a different time than the National Arbor Day. We did it in February, and the Beautification Board had the tree giveaway project, and that was very successful. But what we can do is, once we pass the ordinance at our next meeting, we could also pass the National Arbor Day proclamation and recognize Friday, April 28th as Arbor Day. So that's really all that's required to become a tree city. And so we'll go ahead and move forward with that application, but I think we have to get the ordinance done first, I believe, before we can submit. We had a discussion earlier this week, several of us, about an ordinance for an entertainment district. State Representative Ellis was going to put forward, and actually has, I think, put forward some proposed legislation that would allow Columbiana to establish an entertainment district with only one liquor license within that particular area. The state requires 4. We have met the requirement of 4, so we want to go ahead, notwithstanding whether or not his ordinance passes, his legislation passes or not, go ahead and draft an ordinance and pass it to establish an entertainment district in Columbiana. Generally, that entertainment district would run from basically Walton Street up College Street, do a left turn and go down to, I guess, around the front of the courthouse, come back up Main Street. It would include a portion of College Street. Let me get my east and west established. That would be West College. Heading down towards the old Gulf Station, and then coming back by the Senior Center. It would include the Provincial Pub that's across the street, and then circle back around and include the Old Mill Square, and then hang a left down and include the Tin Top inside the entertainment district. The entertainment district can be a half mile by a half mile, and this is much, much smaller than that. Anyway, so we are going to draft an ordinance and bring that before the council at the next council meeting as well in April. Is there any questions, concerns about the entertainment district? Okay, we talked last time about Music on Main. We also talked about the farmers market being on Main Street on Friday nights during the summer. Music on Main is typically done during the month of June, but the Main Street Alabama has not really funded Music on Main this year. And in the past, before we had a Main Street organization, the city funded it, but also the way they funded it, part of the way they funded it was to get sponsors. And so I am recommending that we do that again, and that we solicit sponsors. And if it comes up short, we're only talking about having to fund 3 bands, because last week in June we have Liberty Day, and that band would already be covered by the Liberty Day funds. And they could range anywhere from $500 to $1,500, depending upon who we get. So I believe it's probably going to be less than $3,000. At the absolute most, it'd be $4,500. Hopefully get sponsors to cover most of that, and then we would use marketing and promotion of the city budget to cover any shortfall that's there. So if the council is in agreement, I would like to go ahead and move forward.
Are you still saying Music on Main as normal, or it being a part of Main Street's market?
Well, they're going to have their farmers market, but what we would do is move the farmers market down towards College Street.
Oh, okay,
And
so
then-
it'd still be on
and then-
Main,
and it'd
everything
still be
would-
on Main Street,
okay.
still be set up in the same area. And, you know, a lot of times when we have Music on Main, you got people scattered that
Yes.
whole block, but it's not very dense.
Mhm.
I think there's plenty of room for both, and as we talked about at the last meeting, I think it has the potential of really bringing a lot of people out to Main Street. At least that's my opinion. So I I'd like to move forward and try that, and if it doesn't work, we do something different next time.
I think people appreciate Mutual Lane.
I do too, I don't
They
think
do.
if we didn't have it, we'd definitely hear about it.
Yeah.
So I'd like to continue that. We talked about a voting delegate for the League of Municipalities Convention. I have registered to go to that, so whoever we nominate obviously needs to go. So if anybody doesn't want to go, so submit nominations, and if there aren't any others besides me, then we'll do a resolution and nominate me for being the voting delegate at the convention at the next meeting. So just wanted to go ahead and cover that, get that off our plate. Any questions or concerns about any of that stuff?
So I guess that ordinance for the entertainment district will come up in April, maybe?
I'd like
April
to do it at the first meeting in April.
Because everything that we talked about yesterday, I've got the other one in a Word document, so I'm gonna have it typed up tomorrow, and then me and Ally and Jeff are meeting tomorrow to look over it again and make sure that everything's, everything looks good.
Okay. We have had our fair share of problems with Center Street and Goodman Street, paving on Center Street. Residents have had a lot of concern about, when are we gonna finally get that project taken care of and done. My recommendation at the last meeting is that if we don't get our grant that we applied for by the end of April, that we move forward and go ahead and do the repair on Center Street that the engineer has designed for us. We will have to make some budgetary adjustments. The biggest one would we would forego the planned resurfacing of Goodman Street this year and put it off until next year. And Alan is also working, trying to repair some of the potholes and make a better driving surface, a temporary driving surface on Center Street to try to mitigate some of the residents' concerns. And I've driven down it, it's rough, it's tough, and so we want to try to get that taken care of. We don't want to leave that mess for a long period of time. But we have, since we postponed the paving of Goodwin Street, we started doing some sewer repair. And as we were digging for the sewer lines, we have ruptured 2 gas lines, one yesterday and one today. And with a lot of concern from the residents, and rightfully so. The contractor called Spire Natural Gas, and they had somebody at the 811 number. They came out and they marked the location of the gas lines. And the gas line that was ruptured yesterday was about 6 feet outside of the markings. And whenever there's a concern that they have to dig within 18 inches of the markings, normally the contractor says, we'll dig by hand until we find the gas line. But because it was well away from where they were planning to dig, they went ahead and dug with the trackhoe, and lo and behold, they ruptured a gas line because it was not within the markings. There was, like I said, 6 feet outside of it. Spire Natural Gas was called, and they followed the protocol that Spire had indicated that they did. The concern was that there were joggers and people who were coming through the area, and that perhaps we should have called 911 and had the fire department respond. So we've sort of decided that we're going to make that a normal process. It's not in Spire's criteria. If you go to their website, they have an emergency number to call them when you have a gas line rupture like that. It says, or call 911. It doesn't say that. And so today, we ruptured another one. It was 12 feet outside of the marked area.
So
And so we did call 911 today. And the issue is the contractors really don't have, they told us that they When they saw the jogger, they stopped the jogger, told him we got the gas leak, and the guy said, well, I'll just swing around this way, and he went on his way around it, supposedly about 50 feet outside of the area. Of course, contractors don't have the authority to actually detain anybody or stop them. But if we call 911, the fire department can cordon off the area. They do have the authority to do that, and they did that today. So we just need to sort of update our internal procedures, and maybe when we do let our contracts, we put some criteria in there that if something like that happens, that they go ahead and continue to call the gas company emergency number, but also call 911 and let the fire department come and secure the area.
Yeah, I agree with that.
So live and learn, and hopefully we'll just get better and do things better the next time. And the only other thing is tomorrow, the chamber is hosting its annual State of the Communities lunch, and that's at the Pelham Civic Complex. So we have a table there. So if anybody, any member of council can attend, you're certainly welcome to do so. And that's really all I've got for the mayor's report. Any questions about that? Announcements? Amber, are you gonna cover that for us?
Or Charlene.
All right.
Okay.
Somebody does. I'll read it if I have to.
March the 28th through 31st is the Main Street Easter egg hiding. April 1st is Beautification Board Bunny Tea at Old Mill Square. April the 8th is the Main Street Carrot Fun Run. April 15th is Touch a Truck at Old Mill Square. And Music on Main scheduled for Friday nights in June. If
So
we get
that was
sponsors.
maybe a
Yeah.
little, the Music of Maine thing might have been a little bit presumptive.
Well,
But
we're
we're
gonna
gonna
get
do it.
We're gonna
sponsors.
get them.
By the way, the Bunny Tea is a fundraising event for the Beautification Board, and it is a good event.
It's a
So
lot
I
of fun.
recommend everybody, we can support that. Any other questions on the announcements? Any other announcements?
No, what the day our cleanup day is.
April 20th.
22nd, I believe it is.
Yeah, the beautification board is having a cleanup day on April 22nd, and we encourage anybody and everyone come, because we want to get you would not believe the trash that we pick up, just what few people we have. So any clubs you know that want to do that, or any school kids, or which we can get in touch with the scouts, they always help. But anybody that you know, please ask them to come and help us that day. Get everything cleaned up, because it really is bad. You would be surprised. Things we got.
Yep, fill up a lot of bags.
Lots of stuff.
Okay. Any comments from anyone?
I make a motion to adjourn.
Okay.
If not, there's a motion to adjourn.
Cut them off, Kim. Go ahead.
Okay. Meeting